Hello, welcome to a new video. Today we're looking at the IELTS speaking test again, fluency and coherence. So we're going to look at the fluency and coherence assessment criteria on the IELTS speaking test. And fluency and coherence is one of the 4 things that are tested, along with pronunciation, vocabulary, and grammar. So the first thing is speaking at length. So if you don't give full answers and are willing to speak at length, then it's very difficult to get 6, 6.5, 7. To get those higher numbers, those higher band scores, you have to speak at length. How can we do this? Well, you need to organize your ideas logically. You need to use appropriate signposts. You need to give your opinion and then justify your opinion, say why. And you need to discuss and speculate about issues, particularly in part 3. And all this without long pauses and trying not to repeat yourself. Still, at band 7, it's okay to make mistakes and to pause a little, but we need to minimize pauses and repetitions and mistakes to get those higher scores. So first, let's look at signposts. So what are signposts when you're speaking? They are words and phrases that show the direction of your answers. It gives the listener, it makes it more coherent and helps the listener understand what you're saying. And that's what we want to do. We want to help the examiner to understand. So have a look here. These are some different types, categories of signposts. Pause the video. Can you think of some signposting vocabulary for these different sections? Okay, let's look at compare and contrast. So for example, there are many differences between X and Y. Here are some more ideas. The main difference is, a little difference is, whereas, while, and of course, use comparatives and superlatives. Big, bigger, the biggest. Amazing, more amazing, the most amazing. These are all comparing and contrasting. How about past and present? So past, in the past, many years ago, 10 years ago, and of course, use lots of past tenses. Particularly part 2, when you have to speak at length, you're often asked about something from the past. Present, these days, currently, nowadays. Present tenses can be used in part 1, part 2, and part 3. Speculating and predicting. So I might, may, could, will, would, probably, in the future. Conditional, so if, da-da-da, da-da-da, will, da-da-da. And always add support, reasons why. And then, of course, you need to give your opinions. So I think, I don't think, I believe, I really believe, I suppose, I somewhat agree. And again, try to add support. Okay, in the chat box, in the comments, can you think of any more phrases? Okay, when you're speaking at length, you really need to justify your opinions, justify yourself by giving reasons, examples. This is going to help you to give fuller answers. So you need to expand your answers by adding detail. For example, give reasons. So say why you think something, or say why you don't think something. Add examples. For example, for instance, such as. Cause and effects. So if you mention something that's a problem, well, what caused it? What are the effects? What's your opinion about that? Comparisons, like I said. Compare now to the past. Compare now to what you think might happen in the future. And of course, it's okay to give your personal experience or the experience that you've heard from others. So these are 5 ways that you can add extra detail, which of course adds vocabulary and grammar and makes you more fluent and more coherent. Let's check out an example. So imagine this is an example part 3 question. The examiner asks you, what do you think about the increased use of smartphones? Just pause the video, think about the question, and think about your answer. And can you add any reasons, examples, comparisons, experience? Can you add any of those things? Okay, let's check my example. So the examiner asks you, what do you think about the increased use of smartphones? That's a good question. Well, in my opinion, smartphones are incredibly useful, but too much use can have a negative effect on one's health. For example, they can be really damaging to your eyesight. Personally speaking, I suffer from eye strain if I use my smartphone excessively throughout the day. Having said that, I can only see that the use of smartphones will keep increasing in the future because they are so useful. So that's a really full answer. I'm giving reasons, examples, cause and effect, comparisons, and adding in some personal experience. In the comments, why don't you write, what's your answer? What do you think about the increased use of smartphones? Okay, and my final 5 tips for adding fluency is you might be interrupted or stopped by the examiner. This is normal. The examiner has to keep super strict timings. So if you speak even for 10 seconds too long in a section, they will stop you. Don't take it personally. They have to. Also, you will be asked follow-up questions, especially in part 2 and part 3. So don't panic and think, oh, why are they asking me to add more? It's not a problem. They're doing it to help you to give more detail, and you will be asked. Don't think you're talking too much. If you are talking too much because of the time, the examiner will stop you. You should speak as much as you can, especially to get those higher band scores. Don't memorize answers. You might think it's a good idea to memorize answers to certain questions, but it's usually when a student does this, if they then make a mistake with their memorized answer, it can really affect fluency. So I recommend not doing that. And practice as much as you can. Go online. There are so many example questions. Just think about the questions and practice giving full answers with reasons, examples, support, experience, comparisons to make your answers full, fluent, and coherent. Okay, that's it. In the link, there are links in the description. There are 2 links to pronunciation help for IELTS speaking and vocabulary. Check those out too. And the last one on grammar is coming out soon. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye-bye.